I'm Colin Thompson of Four Season Tools. We're here at River Root Farm in Decorah, Iowa. Today I'm going to talk about how we install the roll bar for roll-up sidewall ventilation. So what we've done is we've got the first layer of our plastic installed, hipboard to hipboard, and on the arches themselves and the end walls. And now we're going to go through and measure the position of our roll bar at the base. The easiest way of doing this is to make a constant measurement from the hipboard down to where it's going to be at the base, and go all the way the length of the tunnel, making marks as we go. I like to do it every 3 feet. That way there's very little space in between each mark where you can potentially screw up where the roll bar falls. The measurement is going to depend on where you put that hipboard. And so for this, what we did is we went down to the base of the top of the baseboard here, and we've got about 60 inches. I always like to add a few inches. That way when you have the roll bar fully set in place, you can have a few wraps around the roll bar of the plastic. That way you can always make sure that you have a secure seal between your roll bar and the baseboard itself. So I went ahead and did 65 inches there from the plastic attachment channel on the hipboard. And then I'm going to move 3 feet down each time, make a mark at the same location, making sure that I'm following the contour of the plastic so I'm not getting a slight variation from one mark to the next. And then we'll go ahead and we'll attach the roll bar, which we'll show you in a second. So now we've put the roll bar in its final position. You want to make sure that both ends are in line with the end walls. The other thing you want to make sure is that it's nice and close to the baseboard so it's not bending and swinging around when you're trying to put it in place. So what we've done is I'm just really simply putting the roll bar up on my leg here and making sure that the line that we made lines up with where the roll bar is at. I'm going to take a piece of this wiggle wire and I'm just going to put it in, a few bends in the wire. It doesn't have to be all the way in. This is simply just to suspend the roll bar at the proper location. Then I'm going to go down a little further this way, maybe every 12 or 18 feet, and do the exact same. Lift the roll bar up a little bit, make sure that line is where it needs to be, and secure it in place. What this does is basically make sure that every 12 or 18 feet, whatever we decide, the roll bar is exactly where it needs to be. You want to make sure the plastic is not being pulled one way or the other, but it's nice and tight in the place where you're rolling it, or where you're attaching it. And then what we're going to do is, starting at the center, work our way out towards the ends, making sure that every 3-foot mark falls right where we want it to be on that line we previously made. What you end up with is a nice straight roll bar that when you roll it up, it's not sagging in the middle and kicking up at the ends. And that way you have the maximum ventilation all the way the length of the tunnel.